The Mona Lisa life be a singular success.
It made it seem like there was like a trick to high notes, but
Well, I will tell you this about tenors, and then we'll talk about tricks to high notes, okay? It takes an enormous amount of coordination to get through that secondo passaggio to get into the money land. And whenever we talk about the tenor voice, we always talk about the illustration of an hourglass, that it's wide and then there's a very narrow channel and then it's wide again, right? And you're just now getting through that channel. That channel is the tight spot. It's the F sharps and the G's and the G sharps, right? And you're flexing that. But that top part takes a long time, because if you think about the shape of the hourglass, and this is a teaching illustration that they've used for hundreds of years. This is not me, okay? This is just Bel Canto School of Voice and talking about tenors. And tenors will tell you, and this is not to say you're not going to get it tomorrow, because you might. Some tenors it takes 5 or 10 years. It's not unusual, because it takes such a combination of flexibility and coordination. It's very precise. It's like being a gymnast and doing work on the high wire. It's like I can do it on the ground, I can do the whole routine, but as soon as I get on that little teeny wire, I have a hard time. And that's what it's like for singing as a tenor, because it's a huge amount of tension on the voice, a lot of coordination, and a lot of flexibility. Now, you addressed one of the things that's really critical, and that is that you got allergies. Because allergies at a cellular level are weight and a loss of flexibility, because that cell that's supposed to expand and contract is full of snot. So can it move as fast? No, because it has extra weight and it doesn't move with as much control. So the good news is you're going to manage your allergies, but that's a variable for sure that you want to to manage, because like you can hear me, my allergies are horrible right now. That's a variable that you want to manage, because you might not get your top tomorrow, and you might. The approach to doing it, though, is that you have to move air and you have to move your voice consistently without tension. That doesn't mean without pressure, because there's a lot of breath pressure, but without additional tension. So, what's the first exercise that we've been working on from the beginning to balance those things? So we can't rush that, but we can work on it every day. The second thing that I'd encourage you to do is use, and I think I put it on my circuit training video, is use the hook exercise, or maybe it's on the extended vocal warm up. Hunga! And you use that hard G and you hook by jumping an octave. Hunga! And we've done that exercise before. That is just textbook, excuse me, old school tenor workout. So have you already warmed up today?
yes.
All right. Manage your allergies. Consistently work the breath and coordinating the breath, because you know with a straw that you can go much higher than you can vocalize, right? So if you're at the piano or you're doing an a cappella or you're doing a really high warm up, you want to make sure that you go up with a straw every day to a high C or a C sharp. And it might crack sometimes, it might not sound, but it won't hurt you with a straw. And that's the consistency that you need to make sure that you're accessing it all the time. It's just like here, let me give you an analogy. So let's say you're a hoarder and you got to clean up your attic and you got 40 years worth of stuff. And I would say to you, hey, William, you got to go in there and you got to clean up. And I said, but don't do it all at once. You have to take your time. So you take out things one at a time and you'd work your way out from the front to the back, right? And maybe there's a reason why you can't move it all out at once. You got to have some place to put it. Well, this is what you're doing. You're cleaning out your attic. Your attic is the top of your voice. And the first thing is get rid of the allergies. The second is get rid of any obstacles, which is tension. And then the third thing is making sure that you're really coordinating the breath. So
Okay.
you're taking care of the allergies, you're
Mm-hmm.
taking care of managing the breath, and then I'll help you with the rest, okay?
Okay. For like tension, I feel like whenever I was like looking at my throat when I was warming up, and whenever I like got higher, even if I was like on the straw, like it'd be like, I don't know, it felt like I could see that there would like split somewhere here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that like tension? Because like if I like tried to like close it, it would close pretty easily, but like is that tension or
No, it's literally just it's a natural part of producing that music. It's just so, for example, if you were a bodybuilder and you were able to go into the gym because you're a bodybuilder and I know nothing about bodybuilding, okay, but let's say you could take a dumbbell and you could press 200 pounds. I'm just picking a number. Don't assign realism to that, okay? But because you did it every day, you could probably do it and not get hurt a couple reps, right?
Mhm.
Correct? However, what would happen if I went in there and I wasn't a bodybuilder and I tried to do what you're doing?
You wouldn't be able to.
I either wouldn't be able to do it or I would really hurt myself. Is it still effortless?
No.
No, but you have conditioned yourself because you've built up the muscle. You always have to build strength. You always have to build strength. You
Okay.
don't get strength. You don't get strength one day of practicing yelling, do you?
Mm-mm.
You build strength and you gradually add more and more weight to the voice. Well, how are you adding weight to the voice? With your straw.
Okay.
By consistently going up to that note. So build up your strength, coordinate your breath, get the obstacles out of the way. That's the allergies. And so, is there tension for that bodybuilder to lift that weight for 200 pounds? Yes, but it's managed. It's
Okay.
managed. Probably if they're doing it right, even though they have a support belt on, they're not going to get a hernia doing it because they did it right. Whereas if I did it, is there a really good likelihood that I could get a hernia and hurt myself? It's managed. That's why it's called strength training, strength conditioning. It applies to everything we do with our body, and it applies to you as a singer. So don't rush it.
Mm-hmm. So like to tell tension, does it have to be like, do you hear tension or do you feel tension? Like
Oh, that's
addition.
a great question. Okay. So, how I hear tension as a coach, as a listener, this is not using any of my other senses, just how I hear it. One of the first ways that I hear it is if the attack is inconsistent, if there's extra breath in any part in the sound, or if the vibrato is uneven. So, for example, if I went, I hate to sing badly as a demo, but that was a really bad attack. You heard the sound actually stopped. The vibrato was like straight, and then it got really wobbly. Those are examples of everything going wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how about you're singing a high note and you go, oh man, I don't want to demonstrate bad technique. Bad attack, inconsistent breath in the sound, inconsistent vowel. That wasn't great. I released a whole lot of air. I went, and that's tiring. That's fatiguing. So those are the things that I listen for. Now, you'll hear those are things you can hear, even though we sound different in our head than we sound in a
Mm-hmm.
room or listening to another singer. If you feel strain on just one phrase and not other phrases in the same piece, doesn't it stand to reason that you're doing something wrong in that phrase?
Yes.
Yeah. Unless it's totally different range, totally different vowel, there's something that's totally different from everything else. So then you isolate it and you say, I don't like the way I felt on that. Or maybe it's you're singing one song and you say, man, I can sing the G great in song A, but when I'm singing song B, I can't get that G at all. Well, maybe it's because there's a bunch of G's in a row, but your brain is saying, alert, alert. There's an unhealthy tension because you, William Yang, have good G's.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, yep. Use all of your superpowers for analysis to kind of process that.